Good morning, everyone. I'm Irina Solovianenko, and I'm a managing partner at Access Machinery. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Saturday morning. I have here today with me my superstar assistant, Andrew Vicente, who is our application specialist. And we will talk today about competitive advantages. If you had the chance to watch us on the last week, we started a series of episodes about our press brake line, and we presented our hybrid press brake and showed its extreme precision. Today we would like to present to your attention our hydraulic line of press brakes and to talk about what kind of competitive advantage it brings to its customers.
Sure.
Andrew, can you give a brief overview about the hydraulic line of press brakes?
Absolutely. So, as Irina said, and thank you for introducing me, Andrew Vicente here at our Access Machinery Applications Specialist. All right, so last week we talked about the servo brake, and we said about its extreme precision. So why are we showing a hydraulic brake, which is inherently inferior from a spec point of view? Well, that's because hydraulic brakes are very proven in the industry. They've been around a very long time, and they have infinite scalability, essentially. We've offered press brakes from 60 tons all the way up to 2,000, and we can even make custom brakes beyond that, depending what you require in your business. So that's why today I'd like to talk about hydraulic press brakes and what you can outfit the machines with. This specific machine here is 3 meters, 100 tons, donated by its name here, and it is actually with a 6-axis back gauge and standard Euro style holders here with a standard die holder at the bottom in this case. So hydraulic press brakes have still come a long way even still from their basic. By using inverter motors now, we're a bit more energy efficient. We still have, more accuracy than way before mainly because of the back gauge and more precise axis control. So hydraulic press brakes, in conclusion, are still great for the industry and are still widely used, even in many harsh environments, mainly due to their proven capabilities and their reliability.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Andrew, for mentioning the reliability. As again, our topic today, competitive advantages.
That's right.
And what exactly are competitive advantage? It is the ability to offer high quality equipment and service at the better price than any of our competition. Speaking about high quality equipment, Access Machinery is a proud partner of Durma, a Turkish manufacturer who is in business nearly 70 years, bringing absolute unparalleled experience in manufacturing, constantly developing their equipment and quality. And we are very happy to present our equipment to our customers. On the service point, again,
Thank you.
Access Machinery is bringing over 50 years combined technical experience to our customers to make sure that all equipment is running smoothly and all questions are answered in a timely manner.
That's right.
And we begin our demo.
Perfect.
As you probably watched before, we are always preparing 3 showcases. Well, I guess because 3 is our lucky number and we like it. And today we're going to show you very interesting parts.
Yes.
The reason why we find them interesting, because all of them, they have challenges specific, and we would like to show how our press brakes are successfully completing those challenges. So
right.
the first part that we will start, it is a stainless steel part, 75 thou, and the customer is in the construction industry.
That's right.
Particularly it's a home builder.
That's right.
So it's a finishing bracket, and in a few seconds we would like to demonstrate to you how exactly the part bent, and we will go over the specification and what exactly has been done right after we complete the demo.
Perfect.
Enjoy the watching.
Let's begin.
Let's begin.
Despite being considered an entry-level machine, the ADR can be optioned with many of the high-end features you see on our higher-end models as well, depending on your configuration required. Again, here we have a 2D touch interface that makes it very easy to program your parts with an interactive way. This model here is equipped with a 4-axis back gauging system using X, R, Z1, and Z2, allowing you to back gauge in many different locations depending what your parts look like. The actual stroke and the depth of the back gauge can be seen in the brochure depending on the machine you're looking at. Here we have European style holders with manual turning for the holders, but we can also add a system where we have a quick release. We can even put a hydraulic rail across if you so desire. The accurate back aging system here allows us to bend these small flanges with high accuracy. This would be very difficult if we did not have an accurate back gauge to get these kind of short bends.
All right, so you see this bracket here, as Irina mentioned before. This is for construction industry, specifically home building and finishing here. It's a really nice looking stainless steel bracket. You've got a left and right here using the same setup on this side. So we actually use each side of the bend, and that's why a bigger bed size, again, is helpful. I'm a big fan of a bigger bed size because we can have multiple setups ready for you to go. And with common shut heights here, we can keep the ability to keep the tooling in the machine regardless of what the bend is at the moment, simplifying your setup. This part requires quite a bit of accuracy here as the bend closes quite a bit in this piece right here, and it requires that this bracket sit nice and flush against the wall with a lot of precision. We don't have a lot of room for error here, being a finished stainless steel part like this. In this case, this part is a bit more simpler. It wouldn't need too many axes of a back gauge, but I'd like to start off with the simple stuff before we get into the complex stuff, and you'll see later where we can outfit these machines with many different features depending what you're looking for. Again, not just we're talking the bed size or the tonnage, we're talking about axis features and other precision features such as crowning as well. That's what's great about these hydraulic machines. They're very flexible for your budget and for what you need to bend.
Absolutely, Andrew. Yeah, well said again. I guess we are ready to move to our next showcase. This time we're going to show you the part, which is going to be mild steel. And the part is used in the office furniture.
That's right.
It is a shelving part.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right.
Yeah. And let's proceed to bending.
Perfect.
We'll go over the part after the bending is finished.
All right, please enjoy.
Enjoy watching.
The available Delum control here makes tool setup easy. Even with these type of holders, you still need to know where you exactly need to place the tools. The graphical user interface makes it much easier to do so. The large bed size allows us to bend larger parts such as this across the bed, and even though there's multiple setups on this box style part you'll see here, I can have that across the entire bed instead of having to have multiple setups split up together. This machine is equipped with automatic crowning, which helps the bed stay level across a long flange such as this. A manual crowning system would make this very difficult to bend properly. The accurate back gauging system allows us to catch this bend very easily, as it is accurate enough to have the exact location of where this flange needs to be. The hesitation you see here and the red lights are the automatic light barrier safety system that would automatically stop the machine if anything is in the way, or such as your finger, creating a safe environment to work with this machine. Anytime you need to bend a box or a tall flange such as seen here, we can put the machine in box mode where it'll ramble run slowly but still let you successfully complete the bend. As you can see here, part bent successfully and straight.
And we are done.
So this part here is a shelf, as you can see. It's quite heavy, and this has got a long linear bend across this. So this is where the crowning really helps out here to make sure this bend stays consistent across here. And again, with the larger bed size, of course, I have the two different setups because these long flanges here need to go between the clamps. So this job right here definitely needs a long bed, and it definitely needs a lot of accuracy in the bending to make sure that we can bend this part properly. Of course, on this part, a back gauge with the axes moving up and down, we call it the R axes in this case, was required as some of the bends needed to have depth down to back gauge properly against the pre-bent flanges here to make sure they're accurate. So you probably know when you try to back gauge against the flange here, it bulges a bit. So you don't want to be bending against, you don't want to be back gauging against that bulge. You want to be back gauging against the flat portion you know that is accurate. So this part would require more features on the machine to get proper and get consistent. And again, this is why we have these machines, so you can have these features. So if you have a part like this, we can option your machine to handle this properly. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Andrew mentioned, that particular model that we are showing today, it has a motorized Z-axis, which is absolutely helping Andrew to complete this task because he doesn't need to reset back gauge at all the time when he's doing bending.
That's right.
Okay, and let's move to the next showcase.
Perfect.
It will be a part for the truck. The step, it is 90 thou aluminum.
That's right. Yeah, this part is very exciting. You'll see shortly what I'm going to do with this part. Can't wait to show you. All right, so let us begin.
This aluminum part you're going to see up here actually has many stages of bending here. But because of the easy to use interface, I'm easily able to change between the type of bends and modify back gauge info and angles as desired on the fly. This part requires very accurate bends, as you'll see here how tight these bends need to be against each other. The combined accuracy of the hydraulic ram and the back gauging system make this part possible to be done repeatedly over and over again with high accuracy. In this case, I'm using the R axes, or the vertical axes of the back gauge, to bend this part as the flanges progressively move down. So we need that extra axes to help us back gauge properly here. Otherwise, a jig would have to be specifically made for this part to get to the right back gauge location. Aluminum with these types of bend can be tricky, as there's a lot of deflection in the part and this metal is soft, creating inconsistencies in the bend. However, with the accuracy of the ram here, we can maintain as close as possible to what the bends should actually be. Without the 4-axis back gauge, this part would have not been possible to get to repeatedly this way. As you can see here, a complex part successfully made on this machine due to all the features it has.
We are done with this step part.
That's
I
right.
cannot show you how we step in it, but trust us, we tried before, and it's durable.
That's
You
right.
can step on it, actually.
So as you can see, this part is quite complex here actually. Even though the bends look simple, it's the back gauging that's complicated because we're looking at a bunch of 45s here. And in this case, I can't ever back gauge properly. So this is where the multiple axes of this machine and this option would be required for a part to get this kind of accuracy. You can really see here how tight the bends are in this case. And the reason for this part is that it's actually a truck step with a grip. So you can stand on it, it's nice and tough. And just using a press brake, I now have a grip on my step right here. This part requires a lot of functionality from different features of the machine, and this would be something that would be more complex. So that's what's great about these machines being able to feature fit to what you need. If you just send us your parts, if you want to, we can take a look at your parts and tell you what features you're specifically going to need. So again, if you have a part like this, we would need to add more features to your machine, and knowing this machine, we can keep adding those features to them. That's why this part is so great, and it's a great example of what this machine can do. Very accurate, hard to back gauge from, but we made it possible with this machine and its options.
Andrew, this part looks complicated to me. Is it like, how do you program it? Like, is it easy to proceed to bending from programming? Like, can you show us how you did it?
That's right. So to try to do this part manually would actually be quite difficult because of the back gauging and getting the position of what we call the R-axis, the height in this case. So I use a software called D-Bend. D-Bend goes to a control that is equipped on this machine right here. Again, another option we can add to this machine. I prefer this control because it comes right from the software. So let me just give me a moment. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. As you can see, I get a setup form right here in my hand. It actually goes directly into the control, so I have my bend set up. When you see this sheet right here, now I can look and it'll actually show me what the bends are. In this case, you can see it right here. It'll show me what the bends are on this part. So I'm not left guessing or trying to do it manually. It's done about 95% of the work for me. I just got to do some simple angle adjustments as we do on all press brakes. And we get the perfect part right you see right here, already gauged for me. A part that would normally take a very long time to set up, already programmed in the office, brought out to the operator and said, yes, we can bend this. Here you go. And they know how to bend it in what order, and it is feasible on the tooling that we have in your shop. Perfect.
And all Durma press brakes are coming with the D-bend, including in the package. So you don't have to worry about the software or what your programmer or operator will do. We think about this for you way ahead of this.
That's right.
All right. And we have another topic that I would like to cover. We had many questions during this week. Especially in the side of today's economy situation, like, who would be the good candidate, let's say, to switch from the outsourcing parts to bring the production and manufacturing in-house? So again, the competitive advantage of our equipment, and particularly of the hydraulic lines of the press brakes, because it's very cost effective. So based again on your volumes and your manufacturing needs, we can size up the machine properly for you, but we can guarantee that the machine itself will get return on investment very fast. So potentially, who would be the good candidates, let's say, to switch in-house?
Well, that's kind of a broad question because we can option it all the way to the top for you, depending on your return investment, but is that always wise all the time? Well, it depends. I mean, if you know you're going to have parts such as the one I'm holding, you may want those options already on the machine so you can tackle any job that comes into your shop. If you're more of an OEM like the office furniture, you know you're going to be making those kind of bends all the time, then maybe you need a different kind of optioning on the machine here. So depending on what's happening with your operations there, you can equip these machines to get the maximum ROI back. So that's why I love when customers send me parts and I can tell them right away what you're going to need, how many axes, how much tonnage, how big of a bed, even the holder style. We can equip this machine with many different types of holders. So we got standard holders here, we got quick release holders, and we even have hydraulic clamping that you saw last week. So even if you have tools already in your shop and you want to minimize the investment you have to make on new tooling, we can give you clamps that'll fit your tooling already in the shop, making the most use of the machine for your budget. So it's a great question about that one.
And they can be European toolings, they can be North American tooling. We have solutions for both. We have universal clamping, or we can offer strictly European clamping or North American.
That's right.
And hydraulic clamping actually becoming more and more popular nowadays because of, again, simplicity of changing those tools.
That's right, as you saw last week on that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I also wanted to mention another competitive advantage of the hydraulic press brakes, because on the repair or maintenance side, those machines are quite easy. And at Access Machinery, we stock all parts in-house here, which is minimizing parts delivery 2-3 times, probably even more. Depending on that, if you already have a Durma press brake or any other equipment in-house and the machine requires maintenance or service, please feel free to contact us. We will be glad to help you with that. Okay. Do we have any questions?
Oh, we know we have questions. People love answering. Thank you very much for sending what you have.
Thank you. Andrew.
Yes.
We got 7 questions.
Oh, that's it. I love the engagement. Thank you very much. All right. Here we go.
Okay, we got a question from Lawrence. How hydraulic oil temperature is controlled?
That's a good question. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so this machine can either be fitted with standard as an oil cooler, but if you're in a very, very frigid environment, actually the other way is the problem. When you start the machiner, it bends are all inaccurate, or even the ram is running very slow because your hydraulic fluid is so cold. So we can actually offer an oil heater for those extreme cold conditions, so we can go back and forth depending on your environment. That's why hydraulic systems are so proven, and they're still used today, even with other technologies that exist. So, great question. Yes, we can change depending on your climate.
And I wanted to mention, we have another question. What is the maximum tonnage? That's another competitive advantage, strict to hydraulic press brakes, because again, as Andrew mentioned in the beginning, we can build as from 60 ton up to 2,000 ton. And 2,000 ton is our standard line, so we can do it even heavier depending on your application, yes. Which is versus new technology machines such as electric press brakes or hybrid press brakes, they're simply not there. They will be there
eventually.
For sure, eventually. But as of now, it's the answer is hydraulic technology.
That's right.
What components are used for the backgauge system?
Yeah, so our very accurate backgauging system is enabled because we use Yaskawa servos. They are very well known in the industry. I'm sure you've heard that name before. Very well known in robotics. That's why our backgauging system is so accurate, with the encoders made by Yaskawa and the servos made by Yaskawa feeding back directly to the control here. That's why our backgauge is so accurate and why I can do complex parts like you saw with the truck bed part right there.
Definitely. I wanted to add something on the baggage, but I forgot. I do apologize. I probably will add after.
No worries.
What controllers are available? Would you like me to cover them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, as a standard controller, we have Durma controller that comes included in the all standard entry-level press brakes. As we go higher, as I mentioned, Durma has 5 lines of the press brakes, so starting with the very basic 3-axis hydraulic press brake. That one will have a Durma controller in it. As you go higher on the machine level and the more sophisticated baggage system, you can choose from the line of DLM controllers, depending on, again, what you will require on a daily basis. Right. Such as on this machine, we have DLM model 66T, which is a 2D. It has an option to see the part when it's already prepared in the 3D. So if you need 3D controller, it will be next model from 66 and model 69.
That's right. And to add a point about the DLM control as well, as you saw with the deep end software right here, this control is well suited to take the drawings in directly through USB or through the network. That's what this control is great for. And again, you can step up to right to the 3D and even see what I'm holding here on the control.
Yeah. And what is also very useful on the particularly on the DLM controllers, that both Durma controller has the same actually. They both have unlimited library of parts. So let's say if you're having like a large variety of parts and you quickly need to retrieve the part that, let's say, you bended months ago, you should be able to do it easily from the press brake controller.
That's right. Has a library in it.
All right. It got stuck. Can I get some help, please? I need to unlock it. Oh yeah, I unlock it. Okay. Which model? Question from Chris. Thank you, Chris. Which model would you recommend for the first time
user. So when you're saying you're a first-time shop that doesn't have a press brake wants to bring in the materials, I guess that's my guess on the question there. So that's a good one. Thank you, Chris. So it's hard to say without seeing the parts, because yes, we could go right to servo with a full 9 axes and all of that. You'll be able to tackle any parts that come towards you. But this is why I please request that you can send us parts, and we can even do a one-on-one demo with your parts if the parts are confidential, you don't want them to be shared with everybody, or we can feature them on the stream. It's up to you. But that's why if you send me parts, I can tell you what you're going to need to do those parts, what I recommend on those parts, and we can even do a cost analysis saying that maybe we could go a little bit less cost, but maybe a bit more setup time, or we can go a bit more cost and maybe it'll reduce setup time. Depending on what you're doing, it's hard to say right away, but a hydraulic place is a great place to start, but we'll absolutely love to see your parts and your requirements before we like to suggest a specific machine to you.
Absolutely. Thank you. We have a question from Erwin. Thank you, Erwin. Do you have quick release clamping system and hydraulic clamping system? Which brand are you using of hydraulic clamping system? I think we briefly went over the quick release clamping system. So as you see on this particular press brake, this is our standard conventional clamping system that requires LNP to unscrew and remove your tools on the side of the machine. On the hydraulic clamping system, we use both. We have a Durma style hydraulic clamping system that fits virtually any tooling. You can work with Willa, you can work with the Mate tooling, with Wilson, so it is absolutely up to the customer, and the beauty is that you have freedom to decide on your own which tooling you would like to use. Some of our machines are coming with the tooling including, usually those are standard tooling.
Right. All right. Oh, we got another question here?
Yes.
Oh, one more on here, and we got more on there. I love it. So many questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
What software are you using for programming? Could you specify? I believe we already specified it a little bit on the D-Bend side.
On the D-Bend software, yes. We're using a software called D-Bend. It is a 3D simulation software letting you see if you have full tool collisions or anything like that. Again, makes complex parts easy. It's an offline software that you can transfer parts to the machine so the machine can keep working, your operator can keep working on the parts while you set up parts offline in the office, and you get a full report simplifying what you're doing on the control, simplifying your setup. And even still, when you get sent a part from a customer, you can see maybe what tooling you need to buy. So it's full 3D simulation. You can bring in your own 3D files right into it, or you can draw right in the software if you want to draw flanges that way. So yes, D-Bend. I highly recommend it.
Andrew, you know what? I would like to come back a little bit to the baggage system. And nowadays, there's many press brakes available on the market, and sometimes when especially for the customers, when they're deciding like which press brake is right for me, like which baggage system I will need. Maybe I don't need a motorized XR, maybe I just need motorized crowning. Can we go over like all axes that we have, like starting from the cylinders? Cylinders are conventional Y1, Y2 that hydraulic press brake cannot exist. In some brands, they consider it as already 2 axes, right? So to begin with, so Y1, Y2, then we go to the motorized crowning.
Yeah.
Can you briefly say why crowning is important, and especially motorized crowning?
Of course. So you saw the longer shelf parts. The problem is that you probably know from press brakes is that when you bend in the middle here, and especially as you go out to the edges, you'll get this, we call it crowning effect. That's what we call it, crowning. So what happens is that you actually have a cylinder that feeds back directly to the servos here and back to the control that automatically compensate for that flex. And that's why automatic crowning is actually an axis, because it is still a motor moving an axis up and down to compensate. You don't see it necessarily here, but the bed does flex. On the small microscopic level, but that's why we have the crowning system. So when you go to manual crowning, you can still do that, and skilled operators are great at that, but you can't, you're always making micro adjustments on each side that an active system and an automatic crowning system can constantly adjust for what's going on in the situation. I highly recommend a an automatic system for parts like I did earlier with the shelf, where you need the full bed length or even half the bed length, or you maybe have a setup over here and a setup on the end there where you don't have inconsistencies. So yes, you can control the top axis independently, but if the bed keeps flexing one way or the other and you're trying to compensate, that's why you need the automatic crowning to fix that for you. So
absolutely. Yes, so this is considered axis number 3, motorized crowning. And then we go to X and R, which are motorized on this machine.
That's right.
That's number 5, number 4, and number 5. Yes, and we have motorized dead fingers that are moving, back and forth and helping with the adjusting for the different parts. So basically, this is what makes this big beach system 7-axis press brake. Right. I believe we covered all the. Do we have
more questions?
We have more.
Perfect.
What controller are we using? We went over this.
Hey,
there's lots of curiosity.
I love the curiosity. That's great. Everybody's taking notes, so that's good. All right, so yeah, the control here on this specific case is a DA66T. This is the 2D version of the control. This is like the middle of the road control. The one I personally recommend because it can still pull in from the software. But and it still does some basic 3D simulation here, but if you need the full effect, you could still step up the controller even higher to the full 3D simulation where you can spin the part and look at it. So depending, again, what you're looking for and what your budget is, we can change the control and suit it to your needs and what you want.
And speaking about the budget, sometimes you probably need simplified package system, but then you can go up on the controller. So that's why it's always recommended to send your request, and you can send them at info@accessmachinery.ca. And I also would like to mention that our showroom from now on is fully open and operating. We are located in Vaughan. You can find the information where we are located after this video. We're going to post our address. More than welcome to send you parts. We will arrange demo either one-on-one, or we will be glad to feature your parts during our one of our next demos.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. So I believe we covered all the questions. Yeah, we will let everybody to go back to their weekend, and it's June. Actually, it's the first week of June.
That's right, already.
Andrew, cheers to that.
Yes, that's right.
We need to cheers to that.
That's right.
As you probably noticed, we have our tradition. We have our live streams with the cups, and we have cups.
That's right, I like that.
Please continue watching us. So we hope you find this informative. The more questions you ask, the better we can make our demos here.
That's right.
And for the next week, we're going to have very special guests here. And we prepared a surprise for you. Just to give you the hint, Andrew, parlez-vous français?
Un petit.
Okay, so that's the hint. Keep watching us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any questions how to register for the demos, please let us know. Our phone lines are open 24/7. Thank you so much for watching. I hope again you find it informative, and we look forward to your request.
Perfect. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you. Have a great day.